Shut up. My camera stuff arrived in the mail. I haven't checked to see if FedEx stole anything, but hopefully they haven't. TikTok SCOTUS opinion. How are we doing today, guys? How's life in the big GGG? SCOTUS opinion. I feel like there's a 1-2 that I don't like legally. That makes me okay with this ban. And that's simultaneously being able to avoid any criminal liability while also enjoying all of the rights and privileges of an American citizen. So, Destiny, heard the conversation with Decoding the Gurus last night was entertaining. Heard it from who? Should they take people losing their income into account? I mean, maybe, I'm not sure. Does per curiam, does that mean 9-0? That means the opinion is unanimous? Oh, bottom opinions are concurring. What do you think about all the young lefties migrating from TikTok to RedNote? I don't think they'll stay on there for long. It'll be Reels, I think. My guess is going to be Reels is going to be the big winner. I wonder if that will flow back to Facebook or empower Threads at all as well. And then maybe YouTube Shorts. I get how ByteDance isn't under U.S. jurisdiction, but isn't TikTok their U.S. subsidiary? If TikTok U.S. shares stayed with ByteDance on behalf of the CCP, wouldn't that be illegal? And TikTok is held liable? The thing is that they have to share some data in order for the company to function, right? Most people think TikTok isn't going away. I'd be curious to see how, but I saw that Biden isn't going to enforce it on the last day. I don't know what that means. If Trump decides to just not enforce it, then that's kind of I mean, I would say like a kind of a constitutional crisis, but if they just decided not enforce the law, but...
Hi everyone, it's Show here. As you know, we have been fighting to protect the constitutional right to free speech for the more than 170 million Americans who use our platform every day to connect, create, discover, and achieve their dreams. On behalf of everyone at TikTok and all our users across the country, I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States. This is a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship. As we've said, TikTok is a place where people can create communities, discover new interests, and express themselves, including over 7 million American businesses who earn a living and gain new customers using our platform. We are grateful and pleased to have the support of a president.
Wouldn't RedNote be subject to the same issues as TikTok? It's a Chinese app. So here is, this is the issue, okay? This is the only legal issue. Ignore everybody else is talking about this. It's all going to be autistic, retarded shit because nobody cares about the legality of any of this. They're just giving their emotions, all right? Here's the interesting 1-2 that TikTok is able to do, okay? And this is why I'm sympathetic to the government's argument. Now, I did not read the Supreme Court's opinion on this. It's a short one. I'm probably not going to read it today. I don't have the time. I did listen to the oral arguments. So a lot of people are going to be focusing on content, right? The fact that we're going to be propagandized by the Chinese on TikTok, okay? Content. I would be surprised if the Supreme Court decision cited anything having to do with content. But let's check, actually. I'm curious. Do they ever use words like... Oh, okay. But content neutral. Okay. That's what I thought. So they don't consider this a free speech thing, basically, right? That's what it sounds like. Okay. So here's the 1-2. This is like the 1-2 that is challenging to deal with, that I'm sympathetic towards. Okay. You have a Chinese company right here. Okay. Now, in China, the United States has no authority to regulate anything over here in a civil or criminal matter. You're going to have to go through world courts, like the World Trade Organization, the UN, NATO, whatever, the IC. I mean, like all these international bodies you're going to have to go to. And Maybe the WTO can give you some remedy here, but it's unlikely, and these cases take a long time. I don't even know in the WTO. WTO must be able to settle disputes between countries, right? It's not just investors and countries. But it's a lot to deal with, okay? So if China does something bad, like we want all of the data from some app that we have, and we're going to fuck you over, okay? With all this data, we're going to do bad things, okay? The US can kick rocks. They can't do anything about it. So, okay, well, fuck you. So then you say, okay, well, that's fine. Who cares? Right? Like we can just say, well, we're going to ban this app or we're going to ban this thing, right? So some people are saying, what about RedNote? Well, if RedNote does bad things, then you can just ban the app. Why can you just ban the app? Because it's not very clear that First Amendment protections would apply to an app that is not in the United States, right? Who cares? So fuck this, okay? You're going to do bad shit? Well, we're banning you. Fuck you, okay? You don't have First Amendment protections. But the challenging thing is that China, more specifically the company ByteDance, can exercise a great deal of influence and has two-way communication with TikTok. Now we're in a weird world where, okay, let's say that we find out that TikTok is passing info back and forth between China, but that's not even necessarily bad or wrong. But let's find out that on the Chinese side, something bad is happening here with the data collected. Well, if the United States government wants to come after TikTok in any way, size, shape, or form, TikTok can go, excuse me, I'm asserting so many rights that I have as a U.S. citizen, and more particularly here as a U.S. corporation. Okay, well, fuck. Well, now we have potentially a state that has been designated as a foreign adversary that is doing improper things, okay, that's beyond U.S. criminal liability, that is enjoying the full protections of a U.S. corporation. I think this is the challenging legal framework that is unnavigable by the U.S. government. This is probably not good, right? They basically get to fight with all of the U.S. protections while acting like they're not even a U.S. citizen. I am sympathetic to this. So when people bring up things like, oh, well, Facebook and, Facebook and Twitter and whatever these companies, they can do bad things. Sure. And if they do bad things, we can haul Zuckerberg into Congress. You can subpoena or arrest Elon Musk. Like these people are not beyond criminal liability in the United States. But if a foreign company does it, like RedNote, well, then you can just ban the foreign company because it's not like they have First Amendment protections in the U.S. It's a foreign company. They're not citizens or U.S. entities. But when TikTok can operate with the protection of the U.S. Constitution, with all the safeties of a foreign adversary, this is unworkable. Okay. Does that make sense? This is the challenging legal framework. Everybody is going to be talking about content or freedom of speech or rights to apps, whatever. But that's not really what's at issue here, in my opinion. I'm sorry, in the Supreme Court's opinion, actually, because they said that they consider this to be content neutral. And I think the state did make a compelling argument where the state said TikTok can literally have the exact same content on it, and we would not care. If it was all the exact same stuff, it could be as bad as they want it to be about the United States or whatever. The issue is just that dual relationship makes it very, very, very challenging to navigate. Does the U.S. not lose their talking point of how U.S./Western apps and websites are banned in China? They can say they are doing the same thing now. I mean, if you want to say that, then you can, but it's not at all true. But okay. So it was considered rational basis. My understanding is the level of review that they applied to this law, since it's a content neutral. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Content neutral is intermediate levels of scrutiny. Content neutral does not necessarily imply rational basis, but intermediate scrutiny. But this law, there is a chance because the DC Circuit, I think they evaluated this action under the highest level of examination, strict scrutiny, and they still felt it passed. So it looks like maybe they went with intermediate scrutiny here. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not reading all this. Or did they do rational basis? Ooh, they do not. Yeah, I see. Never mind. I see. They do not want this cited in the future. While we find that differential treatment was justified here, however, we emphasize the inherent narrowness of our holding. Narrow means that they want it to apply very specifically. The narrower a ruling, the less precedence or the less applicability it would have to other scenarios or other parts of the law, the wider, then the more applicable and the more it impacts. Data collection and analysis is a common practice in the digital age, but TikTok's scale and susceptibility to foreign adversary control, together with the vast swaths of sensitive data the platform collects, justify differential treatment to address the government's national security concerns, while targeting any other speaker would by necessity entail a distinct inquiry and separate considerations. On this understanding, we cannot accept petitioners' call for strict scrutiny. No more than intermediate scrutiny is in order. Does this mean they did go with an intermediate? Or they call it, sometimes they call it heightened scrutiny. The act satisfies intermediate scrutiny. Okay, so they said it would have survived anyway, so I don't even know if they go to the lower level one. But, okay, anyway. Do U.S. citizens not have a right to use foreign products? So apparently there's a First Amendment right to hear things. I don't know how that's applied here.
I'm a Gen Z
I don't know any of the
I'm a Gen Z.
like law there.
I'm a Gen.
If I go to the beginning, why would you assume I want to play it? So I can't answer that, but you can still listen to things from foreign countries and everything, but they just can't have a U.S. entity that's getting First Amendment protections while also being under foreign control, at least of an adversary, is how that law is written.
Gen Z stan, I think I gotta say it. I love Gen Z. Right?
There's going to be absolutely zero legal analysis except for a bunch of references to the First Amendment in this entire video. But let's go.
Now, they're just feisty. They're very
and it's going to be, the government tried to censor this because they just didn't like what they were saying. So it's going to be completely focused on content with no legal analysis whatsoever. But that's okay.
Feisty right now, and to see the way they are reacting to people trying to censor their speech, this is incredible. This is amazing, and you're gonna have to park aside your feelings about China. Obviously, I agree with the fact that China is a threat, but I also kind of think America and our deep state and the CIA is the bigger threat. The homeland threat seems a little bit bigger, the domestic threat, than the foreign threat.
So remember, especially if you were getting paid millions of dollars, or if you were a foreign agent and you were taking this seriously, then you would engage in at least like a level 1 legal analysis, which is where you would say, like, okay, sure, domestic threats are real and foreign threats are real. However, domestic threats can be held criminally liable, and there is way more ability or capability for the government or any state to do an investigation into those domestic entities than there are for foreign entities. So the comparison here is brain dead.
At this moment. Okay, so what am I speaking about? So there is, let me just show you this headline on NBC. Chinese TikTok alternative Red Note tops app charts ahead of potential TikTok ban. Okay,
let's assume you're right and the data security one too. So said company is going to be banned because of this potential risk. What if said company takes action to stop potential data security risk being a problem by removing the culpability of data risk from themselves to a third party, not part of the ownership structure, to the company in the foreign state? ByteDance. I don't understand what you're saying. I mean, if you're sending all that data to the foreign company, then you're still going to trigger a U.S. law that is prohibiting the transfer of that data to a foreign adversary.
Okay, so just to be clear, the #1 most downloaded app right now in the App Store is Red Note. Red Note. It's in Mandarin. They can't even read it, and they're all downloading it. So I'm going to give you the backstory of the TikTok ban. Initially, when Trump got into office...
Also, can I say how unbelievably, horribly lacking in business savvy China in general is? Or maybe, I'm saying that actually, maybe not. But why would Red Note not have released like some English edition or English listing in the App Store or whatever, knowing that TikTok was going to shut down? I feel like they could have been positioned way better to absorb these people, but...
He essentially was very tough on China. And in 2020, he said, we've got to do something.
Destiny has nothing to do with the ownership and everything to do with the algorithm being used on the data. No, that is completely incorrect. It actually has everything to do with the ownership and nothing to do with the algorithm being used on the data. It is complete. The ownership ban, the ban is completely centered around ownership by a foreign adversary of at least 20%. That's how the bill reads. That's how the act is applied, and that's how it's enforced.
About China, they're stealing all of our data. You know, he was doing the America first. We're also going to be tough on tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. And in August of 2020, he tried to ban TikTok via executive order. It didn't work. There was tons of resistance, people saying that it would be a violation of free speech. This can't happen, blah, 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 blah. Then, of course, October 7th happened, and TikTok was incredibly pro-Palestine, okay, to the point that they began censoring the word Palestine, and the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which is really just the Anti-Free Speech League, and the Smear and the Slander League, decided that they needed to now step in. Forget you thinking your president has power. We, the ADL, our lobby, AIPAC, we're going to get this done now because we don't like...
Sorry, I meant the ownership of the algorithm, so it is about ownership in that sense, my bad. No, the algorithm can go to... The algorithm, there just can't be a fuck ton of data transfer or there can't, like of sensitive data, and there can't be ownership of a foreign adversary. That's how the two laws are written.
Like that Gen Z is anti-Israel.
But I also want to point out that we have a major generational problem. And so we really
Does Candace hate Jews? Yes, Candace is insanely anti-Semitic.
have a TikTok problem, a Gen Z problem.
And then the kids got smart and started using watermelons instead of, because they couldn't say Palestine or get any views and things were getting banned, started using watermelon signs. Okay.
Banned by who?
Okay. But then very quickly, Congress passed an act. Forget the president in 2020. They were like, oh, yes, no, TikTok must immediately be banned. Now we got to get rid of this or it must sell. And that date is now coming up. And so the TikTokers are going, we are not with this. You are.
Read the bottom part of this article. Which part? Or starting where? Where do you think your brand is positioned among your competitors? Does that play any part in your thought process when it comes to selecting people you partner up with to do content? Are you trying to rebrand, or are you happy with it? Honestly, I still don't know. I'm kind of floating in the ocean right now, waiting to see how everybody settles out after all the political fallout from the election. But it's very hard because there are like left-leaning people that I want to do content with, but god damn, their foreign policy takes are dog shit. Right now, my two lifeboats are Josiah and Pisco. And Brian seems cool. Data security team. TikTok previously been storing its US data, user data at its own data centers in Virginia with a backup in Singapore. It will now delete private data on US servers from its own data centers and rely fully on Oracle's US servers. It said the Virginia and Singapore centers are being used with the data. Ring fencing it from ByteDance company spokesperson to Reuters. What do you want me to? I don't know what you want me to read this for. Or what I'm supposed to do with this.
We're not going to censor our speech. We are not okay with you selling it to somebody that's going to censor our speech. And so what they have started doing is downloading Red Note. And basically, this is just China's TikTok. And it's really fun.
Why not talk to those lefties and debate them on foreign policy? Especially today, nobody wants to debate anything. I think most people realize that they don't really know anything about what they're talking about, but it's all about like sloganeering and making like catchy videos. There's just nothing to be gained from having an argument. You would always lose the argument. What's the point? So you just kind of like sloganeer to the audience about how evil or horrible things are.
Funny to just look through what they are saying here, because there is something, and speaking to this generational divide, the younger kids don't really care when you tell them that their data is being stolen, because basically they assume that their data is being stolen one way or the other. Is it from the CIA? It's from this person. They don't have trust in our government, because our government has done really crappy things as well. And they also can't afford groceries. So yeah, whether or not China is stealing their data isn't a priority in their lives. This is one person. It says, TikTok, me arriving to China.
Hello?
The fake lies are so cringe here.
Bro?
Hello guys, this is your Chinese spy speaking. I want to post this video before it's too late. I guess we are not going to see each other again in the future. That's why I have something to say. It is a great honor to spy on you for the last few years.
This video has 760,000 likes. Do you think there are really so many people who agree with her position in this vid? Yeah, probably. Far-right people are probably in general happy with TikTok because there's a lot of like anti-establishment stuff on there. And far-left people were probably really happy with TikTok because their anti-establishment stuff played out in the form of especially a lot of pro-Palestine stuff, which had a huge presence on TikTok. And they already think that they're already like halfway to the idea of Jews controlling everything anyway. So I'm sure a lot of like the far-left crowd are hopping onto that neo-Nazi-ish train, not all the way there, but of saying that like basically AIPAC and the Jews are getting TikTok banned because of their position on Israel-Palestine. I don't think the Supreme Court addresses the party argument. TikTok has made action to remove the data security risk by involving third-party companies to control it, and also working primarily to remove the overhead risk of ByteDance controlling employees to send data over. I searched the ruling and listened to the oral arguments, and not once did the court address this. I think that basically the argument is there's just so much data that goes back and forth. There'd be no way to truly know like if that data is being protected or not. So I don't think there's any way to like truly know the answer to that.
I wish you all have a great life in the future. Now is something personal. Laura from California you shouldn't drink that much Coca-Cola. It is bad for your health. And also Peter from New York, you mama loves you. You shouldn't treat her like that, okay? And Stephanie from Texas, don't send your nude picture to the guy called Marvin. He's a boy. He's talking to other girls as well. Nice deeds, by the way. I think that's all I have to say. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
It's just people are just mocking this, like, oh, I guess we're not going to inspire you here. I'm very sorry. Come on. Gen Z is funny, and it's true. They're going to be playing whack-a-mole for a very long time because this is America, okay? We do not like speech censorship, okay? You're not going to justify it or try to pretend it's anything else. We heard Jonathan Greenblatt on the tapes. We saw how quickly it then got passed, and I get that you're trying to dress it up as, oh, now, when Trump said it, we didn't recognize it as a problem, but now we recognize it as a problem. People are not stupid. Okay, they want to enjoy TikToks of people speaking about various issues, people gardening, whatever it is that helps them ease their minds off of the fact that everything seems to be falling apart around them. So I'm with you, Gen Z. I like it. I'm gonna join there. I'm gonna join whatever.
She won't join and do anything. It's time to talk.
Yo, you're probably wondering why I haven't been in this room for a really long time. You're probably wondering why I stopped uploading. And I'm going to explain everything. This is more than just a streaming room. This will go down as one of the most popular streaming rooms of all time. I've had
He didn't say anything in this. Wait, what was...
hundreds of guests come through that door, right there. And I've had millions of viewers like you watch things that happened in this room over the course of 5 years. I remember when I first moved into this room in 2020, and my chat told me that the camera was facing the wrong way. I was facing it over there. And they told me to face it towards the door so we could see everyone come in the room. And I didn't agree with what they said. But I was never more wrong. We've had hundreds of creators walk through that door. And every time my chat's greeting them with a smile and a yo. There were videos made from small YouTubers about
Okay.
China.
If you want to know the 5 signs of impending, the Supreme Court just ruled TikTok can be shut down.
So this story actually dovetails in with my story on signs of war with China.
If you want to know the 5 signs of impending war with China, you can click somewhere down here if you're on YouTube. But one of those signs was disinformation, and that's what TikTok was fantastic at doing. Now, I said this before, disinformation can be a kinetic effector, and we should actively target foreign actors who are using disinformation for kinetic effects. Now, here's an example.
This is a vibe that I have, but I could be... this is totally vibe-based. It feels like when China does hacks, it feels like China doesn't do as much like propaganda. It feels like they're like finding and releasing and dumping like information. Like I feel like if somebody's like, oh, there was a huge Chinese hack today, what I'm thinking is like, oh, fuck, they got like, they were behind the big SF-86 hack, right? And the big, and like the Equifax or whatever, like they dump like credit card numbers, social security numbers, like the standard Form 86 is for security clearances. It feels like that's what China does, whereas Russia is more on the propaganda side. But maybe China does propaganda too, and I'm just not as aware of it, or I just don't know it. Good one.
Example, back in 2023, AROC, the Arab Resource Organizing Center, used social media to encourage weak-minded college students to glue themselves to the side of the MV Cape Orlando, which is a U.S. Ready Reserve transport ship operating out of the port of Oakland. Now, they did this because supposedly the ship was carrying weapons to Israel, though I don't think anybody looked at a map. Because you would leave for Israel from the east coast of the United States, not the west coast. You'd have to travel halfway around the world to reach Israel. But that's why they call these people useful idiots.
Bro, do you know how much of the world... I'm sorry, this always blows my mind. There's a lot of fucking... This is like all water. Like if you look at a globe, what the fuck? Why? It's kind of cringe. There's a lot of water here. Look at a globe sometime, okay?
Gluing yourself to the side of the ship isn't freedom of speech. It is a weapons effector. What is the difference between using an explosive to sabotage a ship from leaving port or using a weak-minded college student to glue themselves to the side of the ship? The effect is the same. If deterrence fails and China invades Taiwan, China will use disinformation and platforms like TikTok as weapons effectors to convince people to glue themselves to the side of Navy ships or stand in front of U.S. Army convoys. And the fact is that people will do it for internet points that don't exist. So with this TikTok ban, we've just taken out a major adversary weapon platform without ever firing a shot.
Wow. When people say China when talking about hacks, do they mean the government or just that the hack came from China? So places like China and Russia, I think that when they say that a hack came from that country, I think generally I am so outside of my depth here, so I can be completely incorrect, okay? But I think generally the idea is countries like that don't have individual actors that engage in that type of malfeasance. You would just always basically be working for the government, at the behest of the government, or alongside the government if you were engaged in those hacks. So like there might be like hacker groups in like Europe or the United States where like people are like trying to hack shit to release shit or whatever. But if you're doing these types of activities and you're in China or you're in Russia, I think it's almost always assumed that you're probably either working alongside or literally taking orders from from the governments. What is this?
Yeah, but because now the TikTok ban is gonna change the game. It's change the game.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, but because now the TikTok ban is gonna change the game. It's change the game.
Yeah, it's funny. By the way, if it does happen, my money says it's not gonna.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's not gonna. I didn't think it was gonna happen. I thought it was gonna happen, and now you have all the politicians worried about the backlash.
Yeah, it's pretty dank. I don't even. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. The law's already passed, and now the Supreme Court has said that the law is okay. So there's only two ways right now for the TikTok ban to not happen. One is for Congress to pass a law rescinding the prior one. That would be one mechanism. And the second would be, no, there's three ways actually. The second would be the president, the executive branch, not enforcing the law. Trump just says, fuck it, we're not going to enforce it. Who cares? Now that's really scary for TikTok though, because theoretically the next administration could just enforce that law and then they're fucked. You wouldn't want number two to happen. And number three is there is a carve out in the law that, does anybody remember which law this is? HR, I'm never going to remember this. HR, 7521. There is a carve out in the law that allows the president to say whether or not somebody has covered their ass, basically. So the president has the ability to determine through an interagency process, meaning Congress wants him to utilize his intelligence agencies and maybe domestic ones or whatever, precludes the establishment or maintenance of any operational relationship between the United States operations of the relevant foreign adversary controlled application and any formerly affiliated entities that are controlled by a foreign adversary, including any cooperation with respect to the operation of a content recommendation algorithm or an agreement with respect to data sharing. So there is a world where President Trump gets bribed by the CEO of either TikTok or somebody in China or from ByteDance and says, you know what? We investigated and we're actually really happy with how TikTok has their data sectioned off now with the Oracle servers, and we think that they're fine, right? So these are the only three ways, basically, for this law to not happen. Wouldn't a fourth way be for ByteDance to divest from TikTok? Sure, but that's never happening. Or if they divest, TikTok would just be a dead company. They're not going to maintain all the technology and everything. This guy wants to debate. Yeah, I saw this guy. My organization has held live and virtual debates and tried to hold dozens more, but it's virtually impossible because nobody on the left will agree to debate. I don't believe when people say this anymore. I think it's always lies. And then he said, we've asked you several times, but you have also declined. So I was curious who this guy was. And so I went through my emails. And I think I actually... I have two emails from this guy. So the last one was in 2023 in March, okay? And he wanted to do a 3-versus-3 left versus right debate event. And it's like, bro, I'm good. I don't care. Like, I'm not doing a 3-versus-3 panel event. Fuck that. And before that, there was an email in 2022. However, he didn't respond to my email there. Okay. And then there was another email in August of 2022. What was this? This was just like booking a speaker or something. We would like to host you as a guest speaker. Yeah, So no, this idea that he's contacted me for a bunch of debates or whatever, that's not true. Fuck that. Here's a random thing. Oh wait, a couple random things. I fly into New York tonight. We're doing more chats over the next 2 days. Where's Pisco? Am I allowed to say who we have scheduled? Am I allowed to say who we are? Wait, I don't know why I'm typing all caps. Wait, I don't know why I'm typing here. Hold on. Am I allowed to say who we have scheduled for this weekend? Question mark. Everybody but that guy. What are flights from Miami to New York? Round trip? I think what I get, probably like $400. They're probably cheaper if you book them more than 1 day in advance, though, but. Okay. So tomorrow, I think we are chatting with 18th, 19th. Who am I allowed to say? Adam Mockler? You guys know that guy, right? Oh, and then I think I'm debating a guy. Ryan, wait, I think I'm debating this guy, right? Ryan Mullally? I think I've talked to him before. Another lawyer dude. Oh boy. I think I'm going to try to get... I've been talking with David Shore, the Democratic data dude. I'm trying to get him tomorrow, but we'll see. What else? Hold on, wait. Where the fuck did that other sheet go? And then there's, I guess I can't say the last guy because we haven't locked down a time yet, but it's I'll just say it's a congressman I've chatted with before who's super cool and based, but we'll see. Hopefully. I think they're trying to lock down a time with him. And then on the next day, I'm going to be chatting with my good, close, and personal friend, Nick Mullen, who's a funny dude. And then also wonderful, lovely, warm, inviting, caring, and compassionate, doesn't look a day over 30, wonderful young lady, Marianne Williamson. Sorry, fuck. Marianne Williamson. And then there might be somebody else that day, but I think we're still checking. So over the next 2 days. And then also on Saturday night, we have blum 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 blum. What, tomorrow night? I keep saying Saturday night. It's tomorrow night. We're doing a New York City event. Here you go. This is super short notice. Don't care. Don't come if you can't. Get fucked. Destiny is sold out? Wait, really? $17. Why are we selling this for so cheap? This doesn't look sold out at all. Fuck you. I think we're doing, oh, we're watching a movie? And then afterwards we're hanging out somewhere. Is it going to be either creator guest again or just Pisco? Excuse me, just Pisco? The one guy is a creator. What do you mean? Adam Mockler. It's sold out. I'm buying them all and selling them for double on the subreddit. Should have listed the tickets higher then. That's our fault. You should scalp. I'm a capitalist, and if you can scalp these tickets, listen, I'm all for it, okay? Actually, I'll fucking scalp them, dude. Email me if you need it. I'm just kidding. Okay, what other housekeeping, random shit? I don't know if I if I want to be involved in this, because I don't have the know-how. I think somebody reached out and offered to work with me to listen. I liked him, but I don't know how I feel about like remembrance projects or anything. But somebody basically reached out to me with the opportunity to kind of like purchase, finish the development on Everland and then publish it. Feels dramatic. I don't want people to think I'm doing some shit just to like fucking like look at me. How much? Less than 6 figures. I don't know how I feel about it though. Like I feel like if I were to buy something like this and people played, like 20 people played it for like one day, I'd be like, what the fuck? What was the point of this? This was a game that Reckful was working on, finishing, reworking on. Not gonna lie, I don't think that's a good investment. Well, it's not about like a good investment, but what would you even be doing? Do you have a good understanding of his vision? Well, I'd probably make it like a I played a lot of like Korean cell phone MMO type things. I'd probably make it like that. Like you can combine all of your heroes to make other heroes, and then you buy packs every day for $49.99 USD. But yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it, but I'm not sure. Okay. New York event, promoted that, did this. These interviews probably won't come out for a couple of weeks. They'll be posted on the Bridges channel, but I will say these are good microphones. I'm happy with the sound quality that I ended up getting out of these lav mics for the recordings. It was in an echoey room too. These are really good. I'm really happy with these. One thing that I will say, I will complain again about this. Holy fuck me in the ass. I fucking hate the Apple file system. Like, why is it that when I download, like, if I download a video onto my phone, I have to say, where do I want it to open at? Which I don't even know what that means. Open in file? You mean save in files? Or what? I don't know what it means to open in file. Like, where is it saving to? If I save it, where did it save to? And then it asks me where to open it. Like, if I don't open it anywhere, it's just gone. So where is it saving to? So one, I don't know where the fuck anything saves to by default, because I think you have to open it where you save it. But then when you open it in the files, okay, I downloaded a video and I opened it in files, and then I go to like my photos to look at it. It's not there. Okay, so then when I go to my files and then I open the video, I also have the opportunity to save it to videos. What the fuck does that mean? Am I copying and creating another version of it that's going to my videos? Is it just my photos is now seeing that it's in? Holy shit. I fucking hate the iOS file system. I hate it so much. Oh my God, I hate it so much. Would you ever go on Theo Von? Yeah, I would. I just don't know how you even get on those shows. Do you just email them and beg to come on? It seems weird and rude. I feel like they email you. Why not using your Pixel then? Because I'm a cuck who likes to watch my files get fucked by Mac. But it's because I use this iPad shit, so. The flat earther guy you debated got a free trip to the South Pole to see 24-Hour Sun, and now the other flat earthers are coming after him saying he staged it. I don't remember dating this guy. It was a long time ago, but.
Does anyone disagree with Miss Williamson on her point about the process? Does anyone on the stage disagree with Miss Williamson about the process?
Our boy Paul.
Mr. Paul.
Or wait, was it Jason Paul? Or was it Paul Jason? It was Paul Jason Paul. Our boy Mr. Paul. Too many two first namers, okay, that I've talked to recently.
Our problem is we trusted you all. Your job was to inform the American people about what was going on in this country. But instead of informing the American people about what's going on in this country, you asked the same kind of gotcha questions that I am so sick and tired of hearing from journalists in this country. Joe Biden did a good job as president. He got good things done. And none of you ever said it because you wanted to ask, what's wrong with Joe Biden today? What's wrong with Joe Biden today? What's wrong with Joe Biden today? And because the media didn't inform the American people about what was going on, it became impossible for us to get any message out. And because we couldn't get any message out, nobody knew what we did, and that's why we lost the damn election. It is your people's fault, and I'm sick of it. I'm sorry.
Damn. Where was this energy in my interview? The fuck? I can't tell if this is like a troll or if he's like legitimately stupid or if he's just posting it as like a meme. Like, I read a DM that said, the Taliban is mad at you for talking to Bad Empanada because Ethan Klein is mad at Hassan Piker. Like, does he think that this is a real DM? It would be funny if the fact that the audiences don't all take it ultra seriously, like, is very annoying, you know? Like, it's like, imagine somebody DM... Oh, you know what? Fuck it, dude. No, I don't even care. No, I don't want to cage. It's just stupid. What is this? Joey's bicycle needs a new tire every 2 years in 52 months. How many new tires did he need? Is this like a trick question or something? Is this like the fence post problem? Like, do you count the first one or... Game's answer is stupid. The game's answer rounded up. Well, the answer is just new, right? Or, I'm sorry, the answer is 2, right? I don't understand. The problem is whether you start at the beginning of the cycle or end of the cycle. Game went with start instead of end. Okay. The game said 3. It counts the 0th tire as the first. Okay. Cringe. Throw back to when my cat escaped on the plane and the flight attendant woke me up and told me my cat escaped and I turned around to see this man holding her. What? Isn't it supposed to be in a cage?
I watched his Animal Well playthrough. Okay, I watched the whole thing, but it was on second monitor. And I liked the video. And I remember thinking in the video, I was like, damn, he's fucking good at puzzles, man. I was like, if I was doing this, I'd be fucking stuck. That's what I remember thinking. Okay? And then during this drama, I'm like reading some of the comments on this WoW drama, and somebody offhandedly mentioned that he faked it. That he like looked up a guide. That he like fucking was clearly like he says things that happen before he gets there, and he like I don't know if that's true, but I rewatched some part of the video, and with that knowledge, it looked so much different to me. So I'm not saying anything. This is not, I don't know. All I'm saying is I wish someone smarter than me could look into it.
I'm going to be
I wish
honest.
someone smarter than me that knows Animal better than me could check. Because
the only time I've wanted to play Outer Wilds.
That would affect my opinion. I watched.
What's the smartest Outer Wilds playthrough you've seen? I've been itching to watch some Outer Wilds playthrough and was wanting one where the person approaches the game thoughtfully. I'm not too big a fan of people who just randomly chance into things repeatedly. Any suggestions? The quickest and smartest playthrough is definitely by Pirate Software. I really like him, but this was very hard to watch. He never saw Feldspar. He figured out all 3 of the quantum rules by himself. He literally skipped half the game. He even topped that with the DLC. He finished it in 6 hours. He's like a genius at solving puzzles, but I really wish he would just take his time with the game instead of trying to do it all in a single stream. He misses out on so much as a result. I think he's gotten better at it over time, like his Animal Well playthrough. He did over multiple streams, but it's too bad he wasn't doing that earlier with his Outer Wilds or Tunic playthroughs. $1,000 comments? Oh no. Damn, dude. How did this guy crash out so fucking hard? Holy shit. He obviously looked stuff up on his phone. 4 hours, 3 minutes, 10 seconds. Begins puzzle, doesn't make any progress, grabs his phone and looks at it for a while, announces, I'm going back there. I want to solve that. LOL. Wait. 403. Hold on. I am hate watching.
This planet's gravity is awful, by the way. What? What is this? Okay. I see now. It's a quantum portal. When you look away, it disappears.
Does the whole Asman versus Elon shit remind you of the dream you had where everyone was hanging out, joking about their fake positions, free speech, etc.? Oh, I'm way past that, my friend. All these people I view as bad actors now.
Observing a quantum object, observing an image from a quantum object, these are the same. Ugh, I can't get up there. And go up here. No? It'll be on the left side. Think of random. It's gone. Look away from that one. So you can't do it. Image. Object. This is the reflection. An image of a quantum object. No! Not enough time! You bastard! Not yet. I'm not ready yet. Oh. A quantum object. An image of a quantum object. Image of a quantum object. We don't even have an image, though. There's no image available. An image of a quantum object.
Oh, no.
Oh, by the way, I am not reading most of chat, and I cannot hear TTS today. So, if you're trying to talk to me using TTS, it will not work. It won't work. Yeah, you can hear TTS, but I can't. And I can't read chat, so. That's how it is. Here it comes. Here it comes. There it goes. Observing the image of a quantum object. Observing a quantum object in the image of a quantum object. I'm going back there. I'm going back there. I want to solve that. Kelly, thank you for the tier 1 sub. That's very nice of you. You're awesome, dude. Quantum object in an image of a quantum object. Let's up, please. Thank you, Shep. Observing a quantum object and observing the image of a quantum object are the same. We can take a picture of it. And as long as there is a picture of the quantum object on screen, we're observing it, and it shouldn't move. It's a really, really interesting goddamn mechanic if that's the way that this works. And I think it is the way that it works.
Huh. You just needed some time to think.
I'm going to try it. I'm trying when we get there. And if that's the case, then I can use that for other things in the future. Come on. I want to test the thing. I want to test the thing.
Ingenious.
If I look away from it now, it's still there. The camera works. We can pause it to stay in place permanently because we're looking at it. Technically. That portal no longer moves. A little too early.
649.52 is more blatant.
A little too early. Just a tad.
There's no way that he would be this blatant about it, though, right? Like, he's clearly looking at his phone right now. There's no way he would go from that and just instantly solve it. Like, you would at least fake trying to figure it out for another minute or two, right? Like...
Oh, is it still too early? Oh, damn. It might actually still be too early. Oh, wait. There it is. Come on. Come in. All right, good. Okay, that one is broken. This one is not broken. I'm going to use this one. Oh, here it comes.
I don't even know, like, what he's solving here, but... What is this? Destiny's hunch. This is 2 months ago. Destiny's hunch on Pirate Software is somewhat correct. The guy gives off weird vibes with this talk with Devin.
Yo, what's...
Oh, Jesus. I thought somebody joined my shit. I got confused. I don't care about any of this. I don't care about his voice. I don't care about Blizzard. The only thing that matters to me is that he did an Outer Wilds playthrough where he basically figured everything out in both the base game and DLC first try, which, if you've played the game, means that he probably just spoiled all the solutions for himself on purpose and then pretended to be an Outer Wilds savant for like 20 straight hours, which is just a very strange thing to do. Copied from a reply I made below, not in one cycle, but a few. There was one part of the DLC playthrough. He clearly reads a hint from chat out loud. Spoilers, specifically what he says is maybe I was too late. Listen, it's possible he is just a smart puzzle solver who knows how to apply his genius QA skills. There's no slam dunk that he for sure faked or got spoiled or anything except that one moment. My read, however, is that he's the kind of person who probably cares more about being perceived that way than about spoilers for the game. Things he just completely missed. Things he figured out through luck. Maybe legitimately it can happen to me, given that he straight up reads from chat at least once. It's just as likely he peeked at his chat other times and just didn't say anything. From my own playthroughs, from watching other streamers who are obviously trying really hard not to get spoiled, you get lucky with some of these, like 1 or 2 times, all of them, in what are pretty short playthroughs, more or less beelining to the ending. I just don't buy it. Uh-oh. Remember when that one like math PhD was like writing a paper on how Dream cheated because of the probability?
You met with Donald Trump since the election?
Yeah, I had a chance to go have a long and actually quite intriguing dinner with him.
What did you discuss? What was intriguing?
Well, we touched on a lot of things. It was over 3 hours. To my surprise, it was just he and I, his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, and the person who helps manage things for me, Larry Cohen. So the 4 of us sat there and was quite wide-ranging. Global health's the area that I work in, and such amazing things have happened and can happen there. I spoke a lot about HIV and that the foundation's literally working on a cure for that. We're at an early stage, and so he, in the COVID days, accelerated the vaccine innovation. So I was asking him if maybe the same kind of thing could be done here, and we both got, I think, pretty excited about that. We talked about polio, where we're very close to getting that done, but if you stop, it'll spread back. And so I explained why it's been tough in Pakistan, Afghanistan. We've had cases show up in Gaza. We have cases in Africa, and he was fascinated to hear what he could do to maximize the chance that during the next 4 years that incredible milestone will be achieved. I felt like...
Do you find it unsettling that literally everybody's bending the knee? No, I don't think that sucking up to the incoming administration is necessarily bad. It just depends on like what you're doing as a result of that, right? Like being friendly towards the incoming administration, I think is okay. It's just when you start like rewriting history or making false claims about like Biden's admin or whatever, that's like the thing that drives me crazy.
In Africa, and he was fascinated to hear what he could do to maximize the chance that during the next 4 years that incredible milestone will be achieved. I felt like he was, energized and looking forward to helping to drive innovation. I was frankly impressed with how well he showed a lot of interest in the issues I brought up.
Hi everyone. Reason number one is autofocus. Right now I should be in focus on Sony and I should be on focus on Blackmagic, but if I
This guy talked about switching cameras?
lean really far forward like Schultz sometimes does when he's talking during an ad read, or leaning back or moving around, you'll notice that the Sony is in focus. And if I sit forward like this and I lean really far forward, I'm still in focus on the Sony, but the Blackmagic shouldn't be in focus right now. So that's the main reason, and that's one of the big things that we really wanted to work on and fix. Another thing that Sony's will do a lot better in is low light conditions. So right now I'm in the studio and there's a ton of lights on. I'm actually gonna turn the lights really low. You're gonna see the degradation of the picture. Blackmagic needed a lot of light. Sony's are basically cameras that can see in the dark. They're night vision. So I'm gonna turn the lights down low. 1 second. The lights are now set to a lower setting. There's no light directly on my face. Everything in the room is like a dark low setting. So you're not like blinded, you're not getting headaches. The cameras haven't changed, so it probably looks really dark. But I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna make the cameras more light sensitive. And what you're gonna see is that while they both can be more light sensitive, the picture on the Sony has a lot less grain and is a lot more. It looks really dark, but I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna make the cameras more light sensitive. And what you're gonna see is that while they both can be more light sensitive, the picture on the Sony has a lot less grain and is a lot more usable in lower light settings. So 1 second. Okay, I've raised both of their ISOs, which if you don't know cameras, just basically made them more light sensitive. I haven't touched aperture, I haven't touched frame rate. This is just strictly ISO at the moment. And what you'll notice is I imagine the Blackmagic, I can't see that one right now, but I imagine the Blackmagic is really grainy. There's probably a lot of grain around me and it's unusable. And what you'll see on the Sony is that it's much more usable. Okay, now I didn't change it. There's no more light to get into the Blackmagic. It's at its brightest setting, or it's at its most light sensitive setting. So there's no more. If you look over at the Sony, which I haven't changed the color temperature, it's gonna get weird and red, but you'll notice it almost looks like it's back to the original setting of brightness behind me. I've changed nothing in the room from the last time you've seen this. The lights are the exact same. The camera's just getting more sensitive. I've raised the ISO even more. I lowered the aperture and let a lot of light in. Last thing I'm gonna do is actually show you that this isn't a usable shot, but if I change the white balance, you'll notice it's actually possibly usable. Okay, would I say that you can use this? No, I wouldn't film like this. I think it's a bad look. But it is crazy that with a little bit of tweaking, the Sony still works. I'm even gonna go darker just to prove that these cameras basically see in the dark. And that's one of the biggest benefits for us, is that there's just a lot more fidelity in lighting conditions that aren't perfect. And sometimes,
I don't know,
it might not be perfect. There may have been an episode where you have someone on who wears a hat and it creates a lot of shadow right here on their face. And with the old cameras, you would lose a lot of the details under their brim of their hat. And with these new cameras, you'll have just more dynamic range with shadows, with dark clothing.
Sony cameras are traditionally really good at shooting in the dark. Also, Sony is like one of the only cameras that has good like autofocus that continually updates. That being said, I don't know why this would matter in a studio setting. I think for outdoor shots, or if you have less control over the light, I think that there's a big pro to using cameras that have good low light conditions. The native ISOs on Sony cameras are just insane. They shoot so well. I have an A7 III. It was really good. But inside of a studio, you have full control of the lighting, so it doesn't matter. If you're worried about people leaning forward or back fucking your shots up too much as well, you can always just like close the aperture a little bit. I don't know. I don't think there's a compelling reasons to buy. I wonder what the FX30 goes for. Oh, this is a hella cheap camera. Isn't this Ursa Mini really expensive? This is like a 5K camera? Or maybe I'm mixing this with something else. The Ursa Mini 4K. Oh, never mind. I'm mixing this up with probably the Pyrex or whatever. My bad. Okay, so about the same cost.
versus light clothing. If someone is moving around and they're laughing and their hand is in front of their face and they create a shadow, the new cameras at least will capture more of this. Okay, so I'm gonna turn all the lights off in the studio and see if it's usable footage, which will be really...
The FX30 is super overkill in my opinion. It's 100% upgrade. The FX30 is an upgrade over the Studio Cam 6Ks? No, I don't think so.